So, okay, so this meeting will be recorded, and I hope we all have your consent to do that. And welcome. It's another MCAA Around the World webinar organized by the African Chapter. And today we'll be looking at a very important topic. We'll be deliberating together on the power of mentorship in academia, finding, building, and benefiting from the right relationship. I have benefited from mentorship, and with me as speakers who I think have benefited from mentorship. And I think this is a topic we should talk more about. Like I was saying in my post yesterday, the business world, I think they get it. Like nobody goes into business without having the right mentors. But in academia, I don't think we've really talked about this topic. So with me today, speakers that will be deliberating on this together. My name is Precious Ekwere, and I am the African Chapter Chair of the Maria Curie Alumni Association. The Maria Curie Alumni Association is made up of people who have benefited from the Maria Curie action, both as postdocs, PhDs, or have previously benefited. So you are either currently benefiting from this action or you have previously benefited for you to be an alumni. But today, the meeting is open for whoever, even if you're not an alumni yet, it's open to you too. And we hope you make this time is going to be a very profiting time for you. And if you have benefited from this action, but you are not yet in the association, please, we indulge you to join the association, and let's together make the vision of this association come to reality. So with me today, we are going to be having this conversation like a panel discussion. And I have 5 panelists or 4 panelists. Dr. Jenny Lind El Mako is here with us. And she's a UNESCO advisor, a global science diplomat. She's also a key expert for EU education. And she's an MSCA, and yes, she covers programs including MSCA and Erasmus+. So we have very seasoned people here who have had a lot of experiences, and they'll be talking to us today. Dr. Maruf is also here with us. He's an MSCA fellow and is the deputy director at NASTEM Nigeria. He's also a lead research capacity development and science policy integration officer. We have Dr. May also here, and she's an MSc and Fulbright Fellow. She's also an associate professor in Egypt. I'm trying to make this really very short so that I don't spend a lot of time on introductions alone, because in the next 1 hour, we don't even have up to 1 hour anymore. We should be out of here. So Dr. Aminu Idris is also here. He is also an MSc and an ARISE Fellow. He specializes in hematology and sickle cell research. He's a visiting researcher in Italy and in the UK, including the Royal College of Pathologists and Italian National Institute of Health. So all of these panelists will be talking to us today about their experiences with mentorship and how we can also find benefits from mentorship in academia. So things don't happen. Isaac Newton said, if I have seen high or father, it's because I've stood on shoulders of giants. So we all need mentors, but how do we find them? How do we build this relationship so that we can take our career to other levels? So welcome. I hope this is going to be a very inspiring talk for all of us. And we are all excited to have you here. So without further ado, we will go straight to our discussions. And the first question for my panelists is how I found my mentors. So I'm going to start with Jenny. Jenny, please tell us how you found your mentor. Please, the panelists, let's keep it very brief. I think 2 minutes for every panelist. Is that okay? Will that cut it? 2-3 minutes. Please, let's keep it very brief. So, Dr. Jenny, you have the floor. How did you find your mentor? So that if there's anyone looking for a mentor here, they will be able to find theirs.
Thank
The
you.
floor
Thank
is
you so
yours.
much. Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Precious. And I love, I love you, but I have to tone down a little bit my introductions. I am not an advisor to UNESCO, but I am a UN UNESCO representative and UN Vienna representative from the NGO side. So I'm not like in the higher level. I'm more like one of the foot soldiers. Let's put it that way. Okay, to your question, I found my mentor. Well, I see mentorship as like, it's not a lightning bolt encounter, but it's more like creating your own constellations, so you keep on adding stars, as you go forward. And my first star, of course, is my late father, because he was an auditor. And so he really started teaching me about the importance of research and looking at, details. And so I think my message today is that you find mentors in obvious places, but also in the most unlikely places. So when it comes to academia, my first mentor, he found me in the library, but I'm not all the time in the library, just to get that out. But there was once I was in the library, and I was scribbling ideas in the margins of newspapers. And then he saw it and he said, you know what? I'm gathering students because I'm doing a research on, I think it was anti-reclamation campaign. Do you want to join? And I joined, and he was, and he taught me, the basics of research. But there are also, catalytic encounters, and one of the things, for example, was this EU ASEAN Youth Forum that happened in Vienna. And I asked one of the panelists, because I was very interested in peace. I asked him, what is because technology was going up. What is this relationship between peace builders and data scientists? And that bold, and I think he was taken a little bit aback because I was really like, what's the point, of having all these things? So I was bold, but I was also naive to ask this question in a very, public conversation. But then actually in my discussions with this person, it led me to the Marie Curie ITN fellowship, because I learned more and more and more about the the world of diplomacy and international relations, and of course and peacekeeping. But I also did intentional mentor finding, or finds. We have a partner search in Marie Curie, but we also have this mentor search. So I did an intentional research, like a cold email to really ask, could you be my mentor? And in most cases, really that worked also in my direction. So I always see it as that the curiosity is the invitation, but the preparedness sometimes is also the handshake. So from my not to take too much time from the other speakers, but those were my stars, and I'm still building my constellation at the moment.
Precious, your mic is turned off.
Okay, Mai, it's you now. Please, can you tell us
Okay.
how you met your mentor? Yes, very briefly,
Thank you.
please.
Okay. Actually, to be honest, I was searching for a mentor at the beginning of my academic journey. I was focused on research and finding persons with high academic and research credentials in the field I'm passionate about. But fortunately, by chance, my supervisors during my master's and PhD degrees were exceptional mentors. They were very supportive. They helped me in all aspects of my career development, not just research and and lab work and technical work. They were very supportive, and I was very lucky about working with them and having this support. This is
So
very
for
full-time.
Maya, yeah. So for Maya, her mentor found her. And yes, it
Yes,
happens like that some
yeah.
of the time. Thank you so much for that experience, for sharing it with us. Maruf, please let's know how you met your mentor or mentors, because I know you have lots of them.
Thank you very much. Can you all hear me?
We can hear you. Go ahead. I think Maruf is frozen. His network is bad. Can every other person hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we are hearing you.
So Idris, let's go to you. When Maruf comes back, he can continue. How did you find your mentor?
All right, thank you. I think I am fortunate to say my mentors founded me instead of me finding a mentor. During my university days, due to one reason or the other, a mentor will develop interest on me. Some of them will even tell me that if I want to be mentored, I should be ready to get mentored. So I was actually fortunate to get mentors through some things that I do in life, because I usually take whatever I do very serious and I am always committed to whatever I do. So I think maybe that could be the reason why some of my mentors develop interest in me, especially during my university days when they were teachers. If they ask students to do something, I make sure I do it to the best of my ability. So that actually bring me closer to them. But on this MSCA program, I founded my mentor in an international conference in Abuja. So I was actually presenting a paper. After I presented the paper, I came down from the stage. He called me. We had a discussion. Then he said he's going to mentor me. Because initially on the program, I was actually looking for mentors on the research I wanted to do. I tried
Okay.
twice and I failed. So fortunately, during that international conference, the mentor founded me instead of me finding a mentor. And it was really
Okay.
an incredible journey, full of experience. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, Maruf, we can go back to you now. So we've
So,
had two
so
people that their mentor found.
okay.
Maruf.
Sorry about that. I was knocked off momentarily. So thank you very much for having me. What my happened during a particular program that I did in Aalborg, Denmark. And there, usually when you have this kind of program, it's called Visiting Fellowship Program. And when you have this kind of program, they usually assign a mentor to you for for the program. That was when I was actually working on my PhD. So you go there to do your PhD, and once you're there, they assign a mentor to you who will help you supervise the PhD. So along the line, I think we got together, and since then we've been actually working together. And that was how actually we met. That was one. The other one that has to do with MSCA was the one that I met in Italy, which is Professor Elena Fedolini. Of course, when you on an MSCA project, you usually assign a supervisor. And once you are assigned a supervisor, then you get together. So along the line, we got very close, and then I discovered that somebody I could, actually work with. I could also, look up to in terms of, academics. And that was how we got together and be working together since then. We are currently working on a paper, and I think it's been accepted. So very soon to be published. I think that was how I met the two mentors that I have. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you all. Maruf mentioned something that I would like to maybe just say a bit more about, because he said he got a supervisor. I know most people have supervisors, but I like to think that a mentorship relationship is way higher than, because some supervisors are just there to look at your paper and say it's okay, it's not okay. So he has pointed out that his relationship with his mentor grew from being a supervisor to becoming a mentor, somebody he can look up to, and somebody that can point him to directions. So I think we've heard incredible points. Idris talked about his dedication to work. So his mentors found him because he's always been dedicated to what he's doing, and then they started clarifying paths for him. So we've learned a lot about that. So my second question is mentorship in your country. What are the gaps you see? What are the unspoken opportunities? Do people actually, because these days, you see, a lot of people feel, I just want to do it anyhow. I want to do it my way. I want to do it. But I feel mentorship is something that if both the mentee, if people realize that I actually need a mentor, because the mentor is going to point you into direction that you don't even need to make a lot of mistake before you realize that, I shouldn't even have gone this way. So I think mentors shorten time for you. You don't have to make mistakes. So what are the gaps you are seeing? For me, I feel that people don't actually think they need mentors, or maybe the mentors actually feel people don't listen to advice, so let me just keep quiet. I don't know. So what are the gaps that you feel you see in your country, why we are not really utilizing this mentorship relationship? What are the unspoken gaps? What are the opportunities? Please point them out so that we know. This time I'll start with Idris, and then we go from there.
All right, thank you. I think I have
Please
learned
tell us
something
your
over the
country
years.
first. Please
Okay,
tell us your
so
country.
I am from Nigeria and I'm presently living in Nigeria, Kaduna State, specifically in Zaria. So I work with Ahmadu Bello University Zaria. So over the years, I realized something. For you to have a mentor, you must have quality of the mentee. And what I realized here, people actually wanted to be mentored, but they don't want to have the quality of the mentee. Usually, these mentors are very busy people and highly positioned people who is also highly committed because they don't want to waste their time at any moment. But the unfortunate thing is, some of the people that want to be mentored are not really that serious. So that actually creates a kind of gap between the mentee and the mentor, because it is a two-way thing, and both parties have to be instead of a principled person and wanted a committed person, and if he's unfortunately find a mentee who is not actually committed, who is not disciplined, definitely the relationship is not going to work out. And unfortunately, majority of the mentors don't want to be committed, especially with the kind of distractions we have now. A lot of people are distracted, even when in academic environments, there are a lot of distractions. And the truth of the matter is, for you to be mentored, there are a lot of things you have to avoid. And there are a lot of things that you have to keep aside. And there are a lot of things you need to have. You need to be highly disciplined. You need to be committed. You need to be dedicated. And you need to work hard. Because usually the mentors develop interest by identifying some qualities on the mentee. You need to have a creative thinking. When in a situation whereby you have a mentor, you are always waiting for him to do all the work for you. It's not going to work out. You need really to be forthcoming. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Idris, for that point. So you have to be dedicated to have a mentor, because mentors don't want to waste their time.
Yes.
All right. So, Maruf, you have something else to add to that?
Yes, I think I'll quickly, add this. Many a times when we are looking for a mentor, we tend to make these mistakes, thinking that once we see a mentor, then it must have all the qualities that we are hoping to get from him. But in many instances, it's not usually like this. So what I would probably suggest is that when you are looking for a mentor, you need to first of all look for that quality that you want in a mentor. For instance, now if it's academics, that is what, maybe how to write paper or how to write grants. If that is something you see in someone that you think could be your mentor, those are the things you should be looking out for. Don't go look out for something like other qualities that he or she may not have. I'll give you an instance. For instance, now let's assume that you want to know how to write grants and you see somebody who has been winning grants for so many years. You go up to him and say, okay, please, I would like to know A, B, C, and D. And maybe by luck, he agrees to be your mentor. Don't go look for some other quality that you, for instance, now you may be a chain smoker and you may not be in tune. Don't start looking and say, this mentor is not even good. I don't even like this. That is not what you were looking for. You were going to him for how to know grant writing. That is his life, and it's private. You don't need to bother about, if you don't like him in that, you don't like that, sorry, you don't like that aspect of him, then don't go to him, because it's not going to stop smoking because you are his mentee. So, and there's so many other things that are actually private to a mentor that you must actually, move away from. Just face whatever it is that you see in him or her that is of good quality that you want to emulate. That is what you should focus on. Don't go focusing on his own private life. Maybe he's not married, and you say, how can you not be married? You are very old. Why are you not married? That's not your business. Your business is to know how to write grants. So in many instances, mentee tends to make that mistake, thinking that the mentor will have all the qualities that they hope, to see them. And no, it's not. It doesn't work like that. So at times, you may just see somebody who is a good communicator, and that's what you should focus on. That is what, if that's your interest, then go to him and let him teach you how to, communicate science. That may actually be what he has or what he can give. He may not have other qualities, but he may actually have something that you did. So for me, I would advise mentee to always, face whatever it is that they see that they like in the man. They shouldn't be looking at his own other aspect that they may not, really like. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and that is really important. Thank you so much. So you went there to learn to write grants, not to judge the person. So thank you so much. Mai is from Egypt, so let's hear
Yes.
your take.
Yeah. Actually, in the context of Egypt, the gaps I see is maybe more structural and institutional challenges because of the not on all organizations or institutions in Egypt, but in my organization, which is a newly developed one, and there are limited number of staff. So there are very high workload and a lot of responsibilities. So maybe there is no system for mentorship, or the staff are not having the time for good mentorship. So to mentor someone, you need to have time. You need to be a good listener. You need to know about him. So if you don't have time for that, and or you are pressured from other activities, you can't be a good mentor. So is that so? So as Idris said, the this time constraint may make the senior professionals in academia limited to accepting mentorships or having or giving advice to mentees. Actually, for my experience too, as academic supervisor ambassador, I'm committed to offer guidance and to offer mentorships to African students who are applying for scholarships. And from this context, I find sometimes mentees who are not very well committed to this mentorship, or they are not serious about their dreams. So you feel that you are wasting your time with them. So for me, the major constraint is about time and being spectacle about the commitment of the mentees. Um, that's all for me. Maybe
Thank
there are
you.
other, yeah, sorry, I will add last more thing. Maybe for others having stereotype about Egypt, like there are lack of mentorship for women, or there are few number of women in leadership or academia. This is false. So there are a lot of number of women in academia and leadership roles, and it is easy to have mentorship if the mentor have time and if the mentee is serious about it. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Thank you. Thank you.
You
That is
too.
really an important point you've raised. So the system and yeah, the availability of time and all of that. So please, if you have questions, put your questions in the chats box. I'm already seeing a lot of questions, and we will attend to all of them. So Jenny, please, can you give us a wrap on this topic?
Yes, thank you. I mean, it's a very important question, especially if you locate it in our where we are. And I love what, one of the writers that I like, what has said that, don't, because we travel a lot. So the important thing if there is, for many of us, is not to ask where we are from, really, but to ask where we are a local. And the reason for that is that where we are greatly also influences, how we think and how we think about mentorship and how we look for mentors and how we sustain mentors. So, for example, for me, I am Asian. I'm Filipino by birth, but I'm now calling Spain home. And for many of you, you've traveled all over Europe because of your Marie Curie scholarships, and some of you, you go back to your land of birth, but many of you stay, and then that also already defines you. And I like where what the other speakers also talked about when making the distinction between having a supervisor and having a mentor, because I think mentorship is really this intentional exchange, and this is where experience and insights and encouragements, it creates these conditions for someone to exceed their limitations, and it's not about creating, a mirror image or a replica of the mentor, but it's about, sparking inspiration and confidence and curiosity. But most of all, what I find as a mentee and as a mentor, this courage that you can go beyond, what you can do. But and one of and the many I think stumbling blocks that we have as researchers and scientists is that there is this unspoken gap and hierarchies, especially in many regions of the world, in Asia most especially. We have this shyness when it comes to approaching people who are much more successful or are much more senior, so they do not want to disturb the seniors or the mentors. So don't go to him, he's very busy, his time is incredibly important, so don't go to him. So I think this is one of the stumbling blocks, that you don't have this space to approach a mentor. So I think as mentors, we have to be a bit more open as well. I also I think it's also very important to think about reverse mentoring, because sometimes those that are already a bit older, a bit more senior, they want to learn more, but society sometimes tells them, you know what, your time has passed, give it to the young people, which is not, in many cases not entirely, it's not true, because there are, you have your second wind that you call, or the third wind, or your fourth wind, where you can reinvent yourself, and you can be something more. So I think we have to normalize this reverse mentoring, where senior researchers can also be mentored by younger researchers, like, for example, the use of AI, or other technological skills, for that. The other thing, and I have to say this because as a woman, and as a woman, and because I work in the intersections of women in diplomacy and women in tech, it's sometimes mentoring is seen as soft work. You are a mentor, and sometimes like, oh yeah, give it to the if you are a mentor, to give it to those who don't have that much seniority, because there are things like that. And then for us, for women, sometimes we don't have time to mentor because we have multiple burdens. Like once a scientist becomes a mom or becomes a wife, there's not much time. Or sometimes if she also feels again like, it's not really, now I'm a mom, do I really want to, can I still consider myself as a mentee? So these gendered expectations and these biased notions as well of gender sometimes also stops, especially women, from finding their mentors and having this relationship also of mentors. And I want to add one more thing, and I think this is very, very important that we have to discuss, especially when we revolve around our institutions and our organizations, the academia in general. There is this institutional silence around failure. So, if you are a young researcher and then, you have an unsuccessful, let's say, Marie Curie fellowship application, then you tend to, step back and be in your cocoon. And many times there is no system where you are being pushed back out and encouraging you, hey, you can try again. Let's do it this way. Let's do it in a different way. So I think, this having these laboratories, let's put it that way, these meetings where no, you don't celebrate failure, but you understand failure and make failure as as this to propel you to a better way of doing things. I think this is a very, very important. So to frame, these unsuccessful attempts, or these when you get stuck in a ditch, or when you slip, on a banana peel, you get up, dust yourself off, try again, and maybe try better, or maybe redirect. So in this case, we have to stop this institutional silence around failure.
Thank you so much, Jenny. You've raised a lot of points that are really important. I like the point you mentioned about women also being mentors and mentees. I like some ladies approached me and they were like, how do you combine being a mom and being in the academia? Because it's like these are the most fruitful times of your life and you have to do both of them, so they're asking me this question. These are not the questions you discuss with your supervisor. You need a mentor to be able to navigate those things as a woman. And then the part you mentioned about failure, yes, those are really important things we need to start looking at. Thank you so much, Jenny, again. This is very insightful. I'm enjoying it, and I hope you are too. There are some questions in the chats, right? I saw someone asking what's the difference between mentor and a supervisor. I think we've already handled that. Is that person still asking? I think we've handled that. Then if you have a question, you can just signify by the raise of a hand. We can also attend to that. How can you convince a recent graduate in desperate need of a position to look for a true mentor and not just the position? What are some pros and cons of that? Jenny, do you want to answer that? How can you
Yeah.
convince a recent graduate in desperate need for a position to look for a true mentor and not just the position?
Yeah, that's a very, very interesting question, because sometimes when you are desperate, um, it's difficult to exactly find what you need or to define what you need. And I think that's what we don't need to be too specific, but we do need to understand at that particular moment what can really get you from point A to point B, or what can get you out of an emotional rut. So mentorship comes in different things. I mean, just because you are in academia, I have to say it doesn't mean that your mentor has to be in academia. In many cases, one of my most treasured mentors has never, published a book. But when it comes to dissecting, how the scientific world and how, the real world meet, this person is really the person that I needed. So I think to answer the question, to convince this person, it's really a personal thing. I think it's also being humble to say I need help. In many cases in our lives, we are put in a situation where we have this imposter syndrome. Why am I here? He's better than me, or she's better than me, or they are better than me. And and sometimes you are, especially with Marie Curie, you're like, wow, you're Marie Curie. But then, like, in your mind, you're like, yeah, I'm really struggling with how to do chapter 3 of my PhD proposal. So I think this honest assessment comes, because then how do you define desperation really? So a desperation has to, this desperation has to be converted into this energy, so that you can be, more successful, or at least go beyond, your limitations, so that you can do better. And it's very important as well to encourage mentors, because one of the most fulfilling things, as a person, is when you see someone succeed, and when you see that someone, especially if, for younger scientists, when you see a younger scientist do more, be more, and do better, I think that's like this ultimate, then that, okay, I'm doing something worthwhile. So I think if we have that, also this mindset for mentors, that it will be worth their while, and it's really something that gets humanity going. And from the mentee side, to be humble enough to say, listen, at this moment I need help, and help me find somebody that can help me.
Thank you so much. Thank you for doing justice to that question. Okay, one of our panelists just joined us. Unfortunately, she missed the timing, this whole time thing. Yeah. So, Laura, she's here. So our next question, I think we will be starting with her. Laura, are you here?
I'm here,
Maybe I should do a
Precious.
brief introduction of her. She's good to have you. So she's an MSCA fellow and global expert in antimicrobial resistance. She's affiliated with WHO and Africa Academy of Science. She mentors across UK, France, and Africa, inspiring women in STEM and public health. Welcome, Laura. We've been talking about mentorship. I'm sorry you missed the timing,
Thank you so much. I'm
but it's
really,
good
really
to have
sorry
you.
about that. I'm very sorry about that. And for the audience, I really apologize. I've never had that in my
Yeah.
life. I think it's the first time. It was not a good time to have this kind of issue, especially for an important topic like a mentorship, because I'm really, really concerned about having mentors and be a mentee or be a mentors for others. So I had to come even if I was late and accept to be late and apologize for at least to the audience. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we've been talking a bit, we've been talking a lot. And the next question we want to talk about is becoming the mentor you needed. Because I'm sure at so many points, maybe when you started having mentors, you realized that there's some mistakes you made, you wouldn't have made it if you had just had a mentor. So how do you now position yourself and become the mentor you needed? And then most times, you didn't get mentors because you were scared, they are too busy, or I don't know, a lot of challenges. Yeah. So how do you now position yourself to become the mentor you needed? So I will start with you, Laura.
I think I joined at the right moment, actually. So that is actually my life.
Sorry, I hope I didn't put you on the spot. Did I put you on
That's
the
fine.
spot?
It's
Oh,
fine.
okay.
It's fine. It's fine. I think my position is exactly the one you described. So I didn't have mentors when I started, although I was looking for mentors. I was desperately looking for mentors, but I didn't find any. Let me put it in bracket, because I believe that there were some actually already within my remit, in my network, maybe in my family, who were already acting like mentors. But in academia, I didn't have mentors for my own career. So I was just trying to find my way out. But having done that, I did a lot of mistakes, like you say, and it was hard. And sometimes you are desperate, sometimes you are in the depression. You don't even know that you are burnout. You don't know that. You don't realize that actually you are really down. You are on the ground, actually. So I didn't know that. I just noticed that I was changing. My dream was changing. I was getting stuck, not knowing why, and not know how to get out. So one day I had one mentors, then another mentors, and another mentors, and that's when I realized 15 minutes could actually change someone's life. Not too much, 15 minutes. That was one person that I connected through LinkedIn who asked me to discuss. 15 minutes has few words of encouragement were enough for me to change drastically my life. And when I did that, from the moment I realized that, I changed completely. I moved in exponential phase, let me tell you like this, because from rejection to dramatical change in my whole perspective. And I realized that whatever I was passing through, other people are actually also in the same place I used to be. And maybe because I had the help, I had the chance to have someone helps from elsewhere in the world. Maybe other people don't have the courage, like you said, maybe don't even know where to look for these people. So I started now to position myself to ask people to call me, to join me, or to create institution like AWINS, African Women in STEM, where we decided that we don't want women from Africa to look up for role model in elsewhere. They should look up for role models in Africa, creating platform of discussion, creating support, mentorship for more women in STEM, where we share our difficulties, our challenges, I've also created a company called Dare to Think for Africa just to empower the mindset of researchers, giving them hands and support they need to guide their career and making them realize that it's okay to say I don't know, like Jenny just said. It's okay to raise your hand and say, can you help me? And say, okay, I did these things to you, so can you do that again? Because what you are doing is helping me, and I think it's also helping others. But I do that by asking other people also that I'm only helping you if you also commit to help other people. Because there are many people, like the moment I was doing my career, our crafting going up, people were holding knowledge, they were holding opportunities. So now I help other people who also want to help other people. So if you are enthused about sharing, giving, I'm more happy to help you and serve others. So that's how I position me. I have non-profit organization, I have company, and as a researcher myself with my students, I also tell them to cultivate this mindset of sharing with other people, being with their writing, with their research, so that they don't stay alone and say, I know more than you. It's not helping you actually. So that's what I'm doing, and that's what I can say now. I hope I
Thank
gave it.
you.
Thank you.
Yes, you did. Thank you so much. Thank you for that response. Please, if you have a contribution or question at this point, you can still put your hands up. I will be happy to listen to you. So, Maruf, can we hear from you? How are you becoming the mentor you needed, or advise other people how they should become the mentor they needed?
Thank you very much, Precious. Well, mine was, a bit easy for me because the same program that I went through when I got my own mentor, I've also become a mentor in that same program. So it's a bit easier for me, to mentor young scholars in that particular field. And the good thing is also, I'm also sure that you are aware of the MSCA mentorship program. I'm also one of the mentors on that particular, program. So I've been, trying to also mentor young career scholars in my field. Of course, even outside because the lady I'm currently mentoring is actually not in my field, but for some reason we're able to, to connect and discuss issues. And one thing I found out was that it actually, exposes me to so many other areas that I probably would not be aware of. So that this shows that mentorship is actually a two-way thing. Don't go into mentorship thinking that you are the mentor, then is the mentee there, so you can't learn from mentee. That's actually not correct. It could actually at times be the other way around. You may actually be the one learning from the mentee, depending on the kind of relationship you develop with that kind of, mentee. So what I will suggest is that once you've passed through a particular program that was beneficial, you should at least find a way to give back into that particular, system. That way, you will not only be benefiting those mentees, you will also be benefiting yourself. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Idris.
Thank you. I think one of the important thing I learned in life is I learn from my mistakes. And I don't usually allow anybody to make the same mistake I make in my academic journey or whatever I do in life. So one of the important thing I always try to do whenever I am mentoring somebody is I try to point out areas that if actually one actually find himself in, this is what you should do and this is how you can correct your mistakes. And there's this saying that to whom much is given, much is expected. We really appreciate what we pass through, especially this MSCA program and other things that we done in life. So we are actually giving back to our community, and you know, we all work in various positions. I work in the university and also in the university transmitter. So there are a lot of people that are working under me, and I try as much as possible to make sure I transfer what I have learned to them, such that they can be able to take over after us. And another opportunity that I have just gotten is just like Dr. Maruf. I'm also part of the MCAA mentors. I think we are about 12 and we are all assigned a mentee and we are really doing well. The person I'm mentoring is also not in my field because I am much more medically oriented, while she is actually an engineer, even chemical engineering specifically. But we get together from the first day we started interacting, and it's really going well. And I think it's an opportunity. I felt we are even giving back to the community that has given us so much. So, summarily, I think I have learned a lot from my mentors, and I felt my mentee should also learn even better than I have learned from. So that is what I am presently doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So we are already, much of our time has already been taken. We have just 10 minutes left. And I would like to ask you, the panelists, please tell us your final words, your final advice for the people, how mentorship has shaped your life and whatever, just reflecting, what is the most important thing you will ask anybody to leave here with? Thank you, Maruf and Idris, for pointing out about the mentorship, the MSCA mentorship platform. Yes, what I even noticed, you don't really need to be in the person's field to mentor them because some people are just dealing with imposter syndrome. Some people are just dealing with, right? You understand? They're dealing with things that may not really be related to their field. So you really don't need to be in their field to mentor them. Thank you so much for pointing that out. So please, our final words for the audience as we wrap up this session. Jenny, please, I'll start with you.
Yes, thank you so much for this time. I mean, it's really wonderful also to learn from everybody, and I think that's one of the things that I'd like to leave as a mentor. You know, we have to be very conscious of our responsibility, and we have to keep learning. And this is exactly why, you know, these spaces such as this, discussions such as this, are very important. So I learned, from my fellow panelists today. The other thing is, mentorship is leadership, yes, but there are two kinds of leadership, and I say this whenever I speak in events, and I'm asked to talk about leadership and also on mentorship. I always say that, there's leadership in the spotlight, but equally more important is the leadership in the shadows. So I think it's very, very important that even if the light doesn't shine on you, you still have this responsibility to continue, inspiring and making sure that this person is, has also their time to shine and be the supernova that they are meant to be. So it's very, very important to have that. The other thing is that for me, mentorship only has value. It's like a baton, it's the baton only has value if it keeps on moving. If it suddenly stops, then I think it loses its worth, and it's such a precious thing that we continue to have in our, in MCAA, in the Marie Curie Alumni Association. And from my personal perspective, as you know, I'm very, very passionate about mentoring the next generation, and that is why I founded Girls Congress. And now, but the most important thing also when it comes to mentorship, and that's why I mentioned Girls Congress, is also that you have to step back. There's also such a thing as a step back leadership. So right now, I'm happy to say that they don't need me as much. And I think when you are a mentor and you are not needed as much, and you are in the right direction. So I wish everybody a good day, and thank you so much for this.
Thank you so much. That's an important point. So if you're a mentor and you get to a point where they don't need you as much, you are doing your job. Thank you. I've never known that. Thank you. Mayor, over to you.
Thank you. Actually, what I like mentees be focused about is choosing a mentor, not just supervisor, as I was doing previously. Sometimes I was just focusing on selecting a supervisor with research skills who can advise me learning some technical skills or some research skills, or advise me how to write this paper or something like that. So as my colleagues said before, this is not mentorship, this is just supervision. And mentorship is much more than that. It is a holistic support. So you need to be active listener to your mentees, to support them, to give their time and be sincere about helping them. So it is not just about technical guidance or lab guidance. And for mentees, the mentor will not do your work. It is your dream and it is your task to achieve your dream. It is just he will give just encouragement, support, advice to make the way to your dream to make it easier and faster. But he will not achieve your dream, of course, and you have to do effort to achieve your dream. And the last point is that mentors not there are a lot of kinds of mentorship. So my mentor not just need to be with higher experience and older than me and things like that. Maybe we can mentor each other, like peer mentorship. I can have discussions with my colleagues or other persons in the same stage, and we can advise each other, being a mentor of each other. So it doesn't need to be someone who is older and having a higher academic stage or something like that. We can find mentorship everywhere around us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Laura, can we hear you in 3 minutes so that we can close this session?
Yes, I will be short. What I want to say, and that I also try to follow every single day, is that you grow in your life with two hands, one raised to seek help and one another down to help others. And this is true no matter your level, no matter your position, no matter your age. I know some people may be young and think that they cannot be mentors for others, but you always have something to give to someone else if you dare to try to see who need help around you. And as soon as you do that, you also find way through your own mentors. And if you don't find a mentors, it's okay. Then you may become the mentor you need. And when you find a mentor, be sure that you know also your purpose, what you need from the mentors, and how the mentors can help you go there easily and quickly. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for this very important session. Do I have anybody? No, I don't think there is any question we have not attended to. So I think we have done justice to this topic. So I encourage us all to go out there. I feel we are all supposed to be mentors because at some point somebody will come to you and ask for help, ask for encouragement, ask for something. At that point, you are a mentor. So please make yourself available. Yes, develop yourself. Don't. I think one thing researchers do, we are always feeling like we are not enough. Don't feel you're not enough. Like you have to be somewhere there to be a mentor. At any point, somebody is coming to you for help, for advice. At that point, you are actually mentoring the person. So please, let's go out there, help support researchers to grow, points to the right direction. MSCA postdoctoral fellowship is ongoing. Please talk to people about it, guide them, support them. Thank you so much. This is an inspiring section. Thank you so much to the panelists. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Maruf. Thank you, Idris. Thank you, Mayor, for coming here. And thank you, Ashish, so much for your assistance. Thanks to the MCAA community and for all of you who have stayed with us till the end of this session. It was a really inspiring one. I enjoyed it and I hope you did as well. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Take care.